Bonjour French 203 students, welcome to our course. Bienvenue. Comment allez-vous? Ça va? So hopefully that gives you some good reminders of some French that you learned previously. I hope that you all remember me from English 345 last year. It was a pleasure to have all of you in that class, so I'm looking forward to a great semester. So the purpose of this video is just to show you how French 203 will be set up online. We'll be doing this virtually, so we won't have face-to-face meetings on campus, but hopefully everything here is organized clearly and easily so that you can navigate through all the activities in Blackboard. And since there are 3 students in the class, I will operate this just like a normal class. If it were French 101 or 102, I think that keeps us all organized and on track, and you know what to expect every week. So here, our course home is where you'll land every time you open up Blackboard for French 203. Probably the most important thing you can access from this area would be the announcements. So every week I will post a weekly announcement. I may post messages from time to time about other topics if other important things come up. You will always find them here on the announcements page, and I'll always send those out as separate emails as well. So whatever I post here as an announcement will also go to your Lander inbox. So make sure you're checking both of these every week. Okay, so you'll see your first announcement here this Sunday tonight. All right, going over to instructor information. In case you forgot, this just tells you a little bit about me. I've got my instructor bio there as well as ways that you can contact me this semester. So just in a nutshell, I've been teaching at Lander for the last 8 years. As you already know, I teach English classes, and this year I started teaching French classes as well. I taught both of those subjects at USC Upstate before coming to Lander, and I'm just a language enthusiast. I like learning all kinds of languages. So if there were a job of just learning languages all day, I would love to apply for that job. I think that would be lots of fun. So I really love French, and I love all other languages too. So if you do need to get in touch with me about anything course related, you can of course reach me by email. My campus phone is here, even though I'm not on campus. All calls will be forwarded to me. I won't be in my office, but you can also join virtual office hours through Blackboard Collaborate, which is what all professors are doing through this whole year, through this crazy pandemic that we're living through. So to access virtual office hours, one way to do that is at the virtual office hours link over here on the left side. There's also a way to get to that when we get into the class activities in Blackboard in our course modules. Okay, and course information would be the next tab to look at here. There I have linked both the course syllabus and the course calendar. The calendar is already embedded into the syllabus, but sometimes it's nice to just go directly to the calendar if you want to look to see what's going on in a certain week. But I'll go ahead and open up our syllabus and just cover some of the highlights of that. Okay, so the book that we will be using that I did let you know about a few days back is called Horizon 7th edition. It's published by Cengage, and it also includes access to online practice activities through a system called MindTap. And when you purchase Horizon, you're also going to be getting access to MindTap. There is a link that I did send to one of you who asked me about it. In the announcement that I send out tonight, you'll get that in the Blackboard announcement section and also in your email. There's a link where you can purchase this directly from Cengage. You can also do it through the bookstore. If you look in French 101 or 102, you'll be able to find the information to buy it through those course links. So you can do it either way. Some students need to get their materials through the bookstore for financial aid reasons, which is perfectly fine. Or if you don't need to do that, you can also go to Cengage directly. Once you are in Cengage, let me see if I've got that link available here. Great, I do. So when you get to that link, it's going to look like this, and it should say digital platform from $88. You'll want to go ahead and choose the first option. I don't think you'll need access to this for more than 6 months. It's the last French course you're going to be taking at Lander. I think this is a graduation requirement for all of you, so you won't need extended access. That $88 will give you access to the electronic version of the book and it will give you access to MindTap activities. So that's all you should need for this semester. Okay, let's head back over to our syllabus. Okay, so as you already know, this is going to be taught as an online course. Everything will be virtual. As you'll see when we get into the class activities section in Blackboard, there will be folders set up for each of the chapters that we'll be studying in the textbook. We are looking at the last several chapters. The way that this is organized with French 101, 102, 103 is that we're taking a third of the book for each of the semesters. So 101 students do the preliminary chapter through chapter 4. The 102 students are doing, no, chapter 3. The 102 students are doing chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7. And with you, I'm going to do 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to overlap one of those chapters since you may not have been exposed to French for a while. But I know it will all come back to you. It always does. Okay, so another good thing to mention is that in this course, you're going to be improving your French skills, adding to what you've already done with the language in the past. And we will be using MindTap as a kind of a support resource to do that. Good to remind you that even though it's your third semester of French, that this is definitely a skill that you've got to practice regularly, something you should try to expose yourself to every day. And to that end, in addition to MindTap, I've got some really nice extra credit opportunities that you can take advantage of to increase your exposure. And the first activity you'll be doing this week, we'll do kind of an introductions discussion forum. I'm going to have you watch a TED Talk that also gives you some more inspiration in that area. Ways to think about how to build this language into your everyday life so that it becomes part of your life and it becomes something you do every day, something that you enjoy doing every day. Okay, so the course description is here. You can see the different goals we have for that we want to achieve by the end of the semester. Your course grade is going to be based on 4 chapter exams worth 10% each. We'll be using Respondus Lockdown Browser to take those exams. You might be familiar with that from other courses you've taken, especially online courses. And I will give you some instructions about how to set that up this week in case you haven't used it before. And that's just to make sure that our exams are taken securely. A quarter of your course grade will be the MindTap activities, which you'll work on setting up this week. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. We'll also do 4 cultural discovery projects, and these will be done in both French and English, so you'll get a little bit of writing practice in French. And so these cultural discovery projects are mainly a way of kind of exploring different aspects of French and French-speaking culture. So we'll explore topics like doing a profile of a French-speaking country, looking at food in French-speaking countries, music, sports. We'll kind of explore different topics. And the goal of these projects is not just about the language itself, but also about learning about the cultures that go along with that language. And I think both of them are very important. Oral activities are going to give you a chance to practice speaking French. These will be asynchronous. I plan on using Flipgrid to do this. And so I'll be giving you some prompts where you'll record a video of yourself speaking French, answering a question in French, and I'll be able to give you some video feedback on that. And this will be done privately. Your classmates won't see what you say, so you don't have to feel self-conscious or wonder what they're going to be thinking about your French. And the goal of these activities for me is not correction really, or to, critique the way you speak, because none of us are native speakers. I'm not a native speaker either. I'm always improving my own French, and I understand how that is. So the goal is to give you opportunities to speak, which is crucial to getting better, and to make it fun and to make it something that you want to do. And of course I'll give you pointers and I'll give you feedback, but the goal of these activities is not necessarily just corrective. It's just having the chance to be able to use the language. And at the end of the semester, we'll have a final exam that will cover all the grammar, vocabulary, culture topics that we study throughout the course. Extra credit, as I mentioned before, you have several options. Duolingo, hopefully you've used it before, had some exposure to it in the past. I've created a Duolingo classroom for us, and there's a link to it here where you can go ahead and set up your account or set up your access to that. I have posted about 20 different lessons there in intermediate and advanced topics. You can choose any 10. And as long as you complete those 10 topics, there are about 4 or 5 lessons per topic. As long as you complete all those, that would be about between 40 and 50 lessons in total. And they really don't take that long. I use Duolingo quite a lot. That will give you an extra 5% on your final course grade. So that's one option. You can choose one or the other, not both. Option 2 would be to listen to 5 Duolingo French podcasts. If you haven't listened to these before, these are awesome. They're a great way to improve your French listening skills. They're in intermediate French, so they use, I think, pretty authentic French, but they speak at a very reasonable speed. I think it's relatively easy to understand. And there is some English included for context, just to kind of explain what's going on in the stories. I just think they're a great way to improve your listening skills and to learn more about the culture as well. So to earn the extra credit, you would write a half-page summary in English of each podcast you listen to. And then I've included a Turnitin link in the extra credit folder in Blackboard, and I'll show you where that is shortly. But your completed project would be about 2.5 to 3 double-spaced pages with all the 5 summaries. The other option, if you haven't seen it or heard of it, is a French comedy series called Call My Agent. And if you have access to Netflix, you can watch the first season of this comedy. It's 6 episodes. There are, I think, 3 seasons there altogether, but you only need to watch the first season. Write a 2 to 3 page review, and then post that in the extra credit folder. So all of these you can work on throughout the semester. You have until Monday, May 3rd to submit them, and I hope you'll enjoy them. I think they're fun projects. Okay, grading scale is the standard one we would see for any course. All the course requirements I have explained here in more detail in written form if you want to go ahead and take a look at that. Course policies, behavior, I think that's standard for any class. Attendance is a little bit different since we're an online, since we're an online class. I'll just be checking that you're logging into the class regularly, so you need to be checking in a minimum number of times per week. And, I'll be following up in case I see you haven't been there for a while, and I just want to make sure that you're sticking with it. Okay, the other information is standard information that you can read through on any syllabus. And then you have the calendar. So the way I've set this up is in 4 columns. You've got the week that we happen to be in, la semaine, chapitre, which would be the chapter that we're working on, on apprend would be what we are learning that week, and then devoir, activité are the assignments that we are focusing on for that week. So right now we are on week 1, semaine 1, and we are going to be starting in chapitre 7. So our activities will include an introduction to the course, introduction au cours. We'll be kind of getting started in a folder that I've called Commençons, or Let's Get Started. In chapter 7, you see some of the topics we'll be getting started with there, la vie quotidienne, or daily life. You'll be learning a little bit about Louisiana, so we'll start in the United States with French culture, la Louisiane. We'll be talking about everyday life, la vie de tous les jours, and reflexive verbs in the present, les verbes réfléchis au présent. So here in this video, of course, I'm speaking mostly English because we're getting the semester started. But little by little, as we go through the semester, I'll try to speak more French to you in the videos. I'll be posting grammar, vocabulary, culture videos, and little by little, we'll start to include more French so that you're getting practice with that. But just like those Duolingo podcasts that I told you about, it's good to have a little English here and there just to give context, since this is just the 3rd semester of French. The more you study French, the more you want to immerse yourself in the language. So the main assignment you have due by this Sunday the 17th would be your first set of mind tap exercises. But I have a couple of other things I would like you to do back in Blackboard. So let's go back to Blackboard, to My Classroom. That's where you're going to go for all of your weekly activities. In Notre Salle de Classe, so our classroom. And there you see another link to virtual office hours. I'll be starting those on Wednesday this week. When you click here, you'll actually see a link to Blackboard Collaborate, and I will have a link there to join office hour sessions. So you'll see that coming up in the middle of this week. Okay, let's navigate our way back to Notre Salle de Classe. On va à la salle de classe. And commençons. Let's get started. So this is the first place that you should come to get started with this week's activities. This is just kind of getting everything set up. So I'll have this course orientation video posted here once I've got it completed. And then I'll ask you to do an introductions forum where you just kind of remind me a little bit about yourselves. Where you're from, why Lander, your major. I think maybe all of you are graduating or are soon to graduate, so you might tell me what your plans are after graduation, previous language learning experiences, how you feel about doing this online, because it might be a little bit different than what you're used to. The other part I want you to write about in your introductions forum is this TED Talk that I told you about earlier, The Secrets of Learning a New Language by Lidia Makova. She is a Slovak language learner, polyglot, who's kind of created this entire concept of learning multiple languages. I just think she's pretty amazing, and I thought I would share her expertise with you. So I'd like you to watch that TED Talk. Think about, consider the 4 principles of language learning that she talks about, how that might apply to you, and especially your experience as an online language learner. I think there's much that we can learn from her experience. So once you post your introduction, just click on the introductions link right here, and then reply to the other 2 students in the class. There are just 3 of you, so you have 2 other people that you can reply to. And just share your experiences. Find common ground, say hello to each other, and that's a good way to get started. The other thing I'd like you to do by this Friday is just to take an informal online French proficiency test. It might take you about 30 minutes at most, maybe more, maybe less, but not too much more. When you get to the results screen at the end, you can take a screenshot of that. You can upload it as an image. You can put it into a document and upload it. It's an assignment link right here. So when you get in here, you just need to upload your document from your computer. Don't stress about the test. It's not included in your grade or anything. It's not going to impact anything you do in the course. I just think it's good to know for a couple of reasons. One, it might be a good review, since you might not have taken a formal French course for some time. Just to kind of go through, oh, okay, I remember that. I remember studying the present or the passé composé or l'imparfait or something like that. You might remember those. And it's also just good to know kind of what your level is right now. Do you remember a lot? Maybe you don't remember as much as you thought. I just think it's helpful. It's a good baseline for everybody to have going into this whole experience. So those 2 assignments by this Friday, and then your Mind Tap activities by Sunday. Okay, the other 2 items you see here are not urgent, but we'll try to get them done as soon as we can. Is to go ahead and set up Respondus Lockdown on your computer before Friday, January 29th. And this link gives you the instructions to do that if you don't already have it on your computer. And then I've included a practice test here. It's like 1 question. It doesn't count in your grade either. It's just a way to make sure that Respondus is working on your computer, you're able to access it, and that I can see your response as well. We want to make sure there are no technical glitches before we get underway with the semester. Okay, so back to our class activities folder. The other place you need to take a look at is Mind Tap activities. So once you have your access code, whatever way you decided to purchase it, you'll click on this link here to get everything set up, to use your code and go ahead and set up your activities. This second link here walks you through how to do that. The PowerPoint that's attached will take you step by step through that process. It begins with some slides about how to set up a trial, a free trial for students maybe who need financial aid approval before they can get their textbooks. If you have your code though, you'll probably need to just go directly to the end of the PowerPoint and just follow the last couple of slides that show you how to set everything up. And if you're having technical difficulties, you can submit a request for help at the link here at the bottom. Okay, so back over in class activities, you'll see that I have folders set up for each of the chapters we'll go through in Horizon. There's a picture that kind of gives you a preview of what the culture topic is for that chapter. I have put the different topics you'll be learning about in French. And in each of these folders, right now they're empty, but as we go through the semester, 3 to 4 times a week, I will post the grammar vocabulary lesson for the different topics in that chapter, so you'll need to be checking that. I plan to post those videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So each Monday, Wednesday, Friday, make sure you check here by the end of the day for the video that goes along with that lesson, just as if we were taking this in a face-to-face class. Okay, underneath the chapter folders, you have the folder where you'll take your exams. So you'll come here and I'll have links to each of those. Underneath that, you have our cultural discovery projects. And they're all linked here to the discussion forum, and all the guidelines for each one of the projects are already here for you to take a look at, so you're welcome to do that. And then underneath there, I have the folder for Activité Orale. I'm still working on setting those up through Flipgrid, but when we come closer to the first of those oral activities, it won't be for a few weeks yet, I'll let you know how that will work. And then finally, in the extra credit folder, you have all the links you need to complete those projects. So we have the Duolingo options here, as well as Call My Agent. Okay, so I think that's really everything you need to know to get started in French 203. I know it's a lot of information to absorb. Please let me know if you have questions. Send me an email, drop by office hours starting on Wednesday. I'll be more than glad to help you out. Okay, bonne chance avec tout, and bienvenue à French 203.